And welcome back to the Murdy Creative Co podcast. I'm your host, Colin Murdy, and today's topic is below and behind. But first, I'd like to say thank you to everyone who's supported the company so far. If you haven't got a chance, go check us out on the web at murdycreative.co, or you can check us out on all of our social medias. The links are at the top of the website. Be sure to join our Discord server to get behind-the-scenes information and to ask us great questions if you have great questions to ask. Also, be sure to check out the website if you haven't in a while. We've been doing some revisions to it, and one of the things that we've been doing specifically is a revision to the reviews page to make it better. We're working on creating more and better ways for you guys to see all of the wonderful things people say about the product, and also to contribute your own if you've got wonderful things to say about the product. And that brings up a different problem. I've talked about the issues that we've been having with our advertising, and the fact that we're back on Instagram and Facebook. For those of you who've been watching and see our ads, we have to go back. Unfortunately, as much as there are broader issues potentially at stake that we need to deal with, the biggest of those issues is that we are so dependent on Facebook and Instagram for financial success. And so one of the things that we've been doing really hard the last couple of weeks has been working on figuring out what are the alternatives for us to do. One of the things that we want to do that I think is at some level, it's a laudable method to do anyway, which is to work on improving our SEO and, more importantly, our search ranking for Google. Now, this topic, anytime you talk about it, you're wading into a world that is complicated. And it's made worse by the fact that everyone says they're an SEO expert, but who actually is an SEO expert is a really difficult thing to determine. And it's really even more difficult to verify because the Google algorithm is a mystery. Exactly how something gets to the top of the Google search algorithm isn't necessarily clear to all of the rest of us mere mortals. And so we're operating on the best information that we can find, and realistically, we're working on what's called good website principles. And the fundamentals of those are a couple of things. 1, speed. 2, accessibility. 3, keywords. And 4, metadata and meta tags. So we've been working really hard to incorporate good keywords into our product descriptions, into our product names, into our picture backgrounds. That's where goes some of that meta tag, and the meta analysis is to ensure that some of those background alternative text options are descriptive of what is in the photo to help improve those keywords. There's some backlinking discussions that obviously are an important part of the conversation, and that backlinking is working on creating relationships with other people and other companies and other places that do reviews and things like that to have healthy cross-web tracking and cross-web relationships that shows reputation. But speed is a huge part of it. For those of you who listened a while back, we talked about our desire to transition to Shopify 2.0. We talked about the expense that we were dealing with and the fact that we really wanted to do it, and it was going to open up the doors to some more tools for us, but we couldn't afford to do it at the time, and I was concerned about it. Well, I just went and did it. In fact, the team and I, we had a little bit of time before the Americano batch showed up, where we had to wait because we didn't have anything to do except for wait for the Americano. And so we took that opportunity to work on overhauling the website, which is why you'll see it's a little bit different. Now, it's not necessarily extraordinarily different, right? But there are some very important differences, and visually it is different. But the real important aspect is what's under the hood. We've been doing some very specific tweaks and tuning to the specifics of each page. And more importantly, this transition got us into what's called Shopify 2.0. Shopify 2.0 is a new format that Shopify has released, and they released years ago, to create a lighter weight and better designable website process. So now we have a much, much more fine detailed capability to edit unique pages. And that opens up a lot of doors from us design-wise and creating an engaging and interesting website that looks unique. So one of the things that we've been working on doing initially is just the first shift, right? The first attempt to at least transition a good portion of the old website into this new format. That was the first step. And we made good progress on that. We got that done. And we began to tweak some of the pages. Now, during this process, it sped our website up substantially merely by doing the transition. But then I have been taking a fine-tooth comb and some performance metric tools and working on just aggressively cutting out every single thing that gets in the way of us having a fast load time. Everything from completely overhauling the image sizing and the images that are used on the main page of the website to even the type of images. They're all WebP, which is the new advanced version of images for websites. We've got a whole bunch of different things that we've been doing to eliminate apps that we don't necessarily use a lot, but they cause a lot of slowdown. We've been revising our Google tag and how that all works to ensure that we've got the most slim version of that we can possibly manage to increase our speed. And all in all, I think it's working. And part of the reason why that's important for us is because if we can get higher in the organic Google search ranking, that will make a world of difference in our fundamental business proposition. We make a great product. If you're looking for a custom leather journal, there is no better place to look for us than us. And we don't really show up at all on the Google search results for that. The keyword operation is a big deal. We've got our blog posts that we've been writing. Those are the writing tips that you guys often get in your inboxes if you're part of that list. Those writing tips, I'm not going to lie, we have been consciously working on making sure that those writing tips not only are useful, but have keywords that we think are valuable things that people would search for when looking for us. Posting those weekly helps create that new content, helps create that place for Google to search. We've been working on making sure the descriptions are what they can be to be as descriptive as possible, but we're also actually reviewing that because the new website design actually offers an opportunity for us to revise a bit of how the descriptions are used. And we got some creative ideas potentially about that, but regardless, we still need to have good keywords in them. So with the keywords and with the image tags being everywhere, that improves our accessibility. So we've got the keywords, the accessibility, and now with the new website transition, I think we've got the speed that we need, or at least we're getting very close to getting to the speed that we needed to operate at. Hopefully, over the course of the next 6 months, with good traffic and good results on the website, we can create an opportunity for us where by Christmas time, we are one of the things that shows up at the top of the search for custom leather journals, refillable leather journals, leather binders, leather folios, leather portfolios. All of those things are incredibly valuable real estate in the world of shopping. And for us, when we've been spending the time discussing where are the new people going to come from, if not from Facebook and Instagram, they've got to come from Google search. There's not a lot of places we can get our product for a relatively reasonable price in front of a lot of eyes. And the problem with our product is we make such a good product that people don't necessarily need to buy more than 2 or 3 at a time. And it's not like we're selling toilet paper where they need to buy repeatedly, right? So for us, we have to get a constant stream of new clients, new people. And you guys have often helped, right? The people who've recommended or shared the videos or recommended the company to other people, that's a great place to get new people. In fact, those recommendations are actually a really important part of it. And that's why we actually are putting out some of the reviews in our advertising. And the hope is that using those reviews, we can help get people confident that what they're buying is not a scam, but is the real McCoy. And that's where we're really focusing on the reviews. And that's also why we've been really hammering on the Google reviews, because that combination of our website improvement on that end and then the improvement of the Google reviews hopefully will continue to build that trust where Google then recommends us as the search choice. So these are some of the things we've been working on behind the scenes. But it's made challenging this month by a couple of things that are happening. We are behind in our production and we are below our sales target pretty significantly. And the problem is that we're kind of running out of money again. I mean, it always seems to be a problem. And I don't really know exactly why precisely it seems to be a problem, but it's always a problem. Part of the reason that it became a problem was that last month, the Facebook advertising had optimized very heavily around a couple of videos that emphasized the journals. Believe it or not, the journals are one of the products that we have the slimmest margins on. So when the algorithm optimizes and locks on 4 journals like that, we end up selling a lot of them, but we don't make as much money selling them as we would potentially selling something else. Now, to combat this, one of the things that I had been attempting to do with the new ads that we relaunched on Facebook was to split them up by type and have subcategories where journals is one section and binders is another section and briefcases is another section. And each one of those sections has a specific budget allotted to it. That way, the budget couldn't all be spent on journals. The problem with that is it's not as effective. There's a reason why the advertising so heavily and the algorithm so heavily emphasizes the journal video, is that it's the best way to sell the product. But is it the right product for us to sell, at least at the volume? And the answer is I don't know. I really don't. Because the cost of goods sold are so much higher for the journals, because, by the way, it has not only the leather, but the pen, the insert, the bar. It's expensive to make. Because of that, it's burned through our liquid cash. It burned through our liquid cash quickly. And because of a delay with our leather supplier, because they had a machine that broke, we didn't get our shipment of Americano leather for almost 3 weeks. Now, we're on net 30 terms with our tannery, which makes perfect sense for most of these arrangements, but what it meant was that we got off of our normal cycle. Our normal cycle of payments and goods, cost of goods sold, is that every month we have X amount of dollars that are going to leather. But because we can't necessarily buy one piece of leather for every one we sell, we have to buy in advance. So we buy a whole mill of Americano, for example, and then we consume that over time, and we buy another one. What this means is that each month we buy about a mill of leather, sometimes two, but there's a certain amount of expense associated with this that's pretty much continuous. It's pretty much stable. But because the leather that we'd ordered was 3 weeks late, it was almost 4 weeks late, actually. We actually got that mill and another half mill all at the same time. Well, that created an enormous bill that's going to come due in less than 30 days for us. That enormous bill is daunting, to say the least. For us, it would represent all of the money we could possibly borrow if we had to borrow it today. And even that would be close. So we've had to take a more aggressive approach. And this more aggressive approach is something that I'm nervous about, to say the least, because we're spending even more money than we've ever spent before on advertising. And it's got to work. Because the problem is this: there's kind of two ways to approach this problem. The way we've ran the company this whole year so far has been profitable, but it's been very lean and very narrow. We have not been focused on growth. In fact, we've been shrinking in our sales and our gross revenues, but we've also been shrinking heavily on our costs. So by shedding a lot of our costs and shrinking our productivity a little bit, or not productivity, but our production a little bit, we've been able to get to the company where it's at a profitable point. And as I've always told, it's a lot better to run a smaller company that's that's profitable than a big company that's not profitable. However, a lot of that profitability has been soaked up by the repayments on our debt. But they're not repayments on a debt that's like a line of credit, right? On a line of credit, you can borrow and repay kind of at will. These debts have been repayment on small business loans that have to be repaid on a schedule. And I can't get more of those loans until we pay off the current ones. So most of the profitability has been sucked up, and most of the excess cash has been sucked up by those debt repayments. And it's not like we can borrow more until they're gone. So I can't go back to that well and tap it. So it's not like we've been making all of this profit and there's a big pile of money that we can borrow against. There's not. So this month I've said we're going to take a more aggressive approach towards our marketing. We're going to try to boost up our production, or our volume, our sales volume, and hopefully the combination of the higher marketing and the higher sales volume will still make us profitable. That is yet to be seen. And we're coming up on the halfway point. And I'm nervous. I'm very nervous. Now, I'll figure it out. I always do. And something will come. And the truth of the matter is that any reasonable business person who is in my position, and any reasonable business person who's in my tannery's position, will realize that this is a unique circumstance that is a fluke of the fact that they were late on their delivery. And so I'm guessing if it got really, really difficult, if it was a real problem, I'm guessing if I had to, I could ask for the tannery to give me more time on part of the bill, and they'd be happy to, because it's a unique circumstance. So all in all, we'll figure it out. But in the meantime, it's really pushed us to say, how aggressively can we spool up the machine? And being behind in production because of the 4-day weekend with the 4th of July has not been good. We've been far behind, and we're not making a lot of progress getting caught up because there's a lot to do. So I'm nervous. We have long lead times. I don't like long lead times. 5 days of crafting plus shipping. I don't like that. And we're struggling in some ways to keep up with that, like I said, because what ended up happening is once we get through the 4-day weekend of production, we now have big days. Not big enough, but big. And this is the problem. For every dollar I spend in marketing, additional dollar I spend in marketing, that generates X number of costs, both if we make a sale from it and then if we don't, right? So if you have $10 you spend on marketing and you make a sale of $30, let's just say, and that $30 sale costs you $20 in materials, that $10 of ad spend only yielded $10 of profit. And if that $10 doesn't work, now you've got $10 of loss. So this is where there's a lot of these pieces of this puzzle that I'm struggling to deal with. And I'm trying to figure out how to keep all the balls in the air. And I'm trying to figure out how to diversify our marketing strategy. And I'm trying to do that all while we're way behind. And there's only 3 of us in the production. So when it comes down to it, I got to wear a lot of hats. I got to work a lot of late nights, but that's how it goes. And we've been making progress. And there's a lot of good news coming down the pike. And we've just got to get there. We've just got to make it through, right? It's the good old-fashioned don't go out of business by staying in business tactic. And I'm a big fan. Anyway, for those of you who might have ideas on how to improve our advertising, for those of you who have ideas on areas where we might be able to get in front of a lot of eyes, particularly eyes that might be interested in buying our product, for anybody who has thoughts on what the best strategy might be to raise money in a quick way for us, I am all ears. Feel free to mention in the comments below. Thank you guys for tuning in today. Be sure to check back in Thursday for that next topic. And don't forget to check that subscribe button as well as the notification bell to get notified when we launch new episodes. If you have any questions, concerns, or issues with any of your leather products, please feel free to reach out to us at Murdy Creative Co. We have a contact form right there on the main page of the website. We are happy to help. We want to take good care of you guys. So if you have a question, you can reach out there. Otherwise, you can give us a phone call, 414-434-9001. We're available Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. Central Time. That's 414-434-9001. You can also text us at that number if it's more convenient for you. It's a cell phone, so we do get it. If you'd like to leave us a message, leave us a voicemail, you can do so. And we do call people back when we're back in the office if it's after hours or if for whatever reason you don't get a hold of us during the day. So please do so. If you are calling about a specific product and you leave us a voicemail, if you can include any sort of information about the order number, the date it was ordered, the name it was ordered, anything like that, it helps us kind of triangulate who we're talking to and what we're talking about. If you think we deserve a good review, it can go a long way to help us grow. Check out the review page on the Murdy Creative Co website at going murdycreative.co/reviews to read on the page. You can also leave us a review if you go to murdycreative.co/review. That'll take you directly to Google at the moment, and that's where it's the best place to leave the review. Like I said, it helps our SEO, helps improve a lot of things, and that is a great place to get information about the product if you're curious what people are saying about the product. If you want to go something for doing that, for advertising the company, we can't offer any rewards for being a reviewer because there's ethical reasons of that. But what we can do is we can reward you for being a purchaser. So what you can do is if you purchased a product, you get reward points that are part of the rewards loyalty program that we have on our website. To check out that rewards program, go to the bottom left-hand corner of the main page of the website, and you can spend points that you've earned and do all sorts of other great things. And you can get a little something for sharing the company there, too. There's a shareable link. If you share that link with your friends, families, enemies, they'll get $5 off their first purchase. You get $5 of in-store credit when they make that purchase. And sometimes that number isn't $5. Sometimes that number is a little bit more. So keep an eye out for that if you're interested. If you have any podcast topics you want to hear more about, send them my way. I'm always looking for something to talk about, and I want to give you guys what you're looking for. So feel free to ask questions or look for interesting podcast topics you think I would be willing to share about, and I'd be happy to do it. Send it to us in message or leave us in the comment below. If you're looking for multiple items for gifts, giveaways, menus, really any reason, we have bulk discounts built directly into the cart. All you need to do is mix and match to your heart's desire, add everything to your cart, and it will automatically apply the appropriate bulk discount for the quantity that you add. It only starts at a minimum of 5. So 5 items will get you the first tier of the bulk discount. And more importantly, when you do that, you can mix and match, right? So you can add a binder, a journal, a folio, a bunch of other things, and it doesn't matter. It's applied to all of them equally. So check that out. If you're looking to get one thing custom engraved, we have no minimum order quantities and no setup fees. It's a simple flat fee, normally about $15, and that is pre-bulk discount. So if you were planning on getting a whole bunch of items that are custom engraved with a logo or a name or something like that, you actually can get a little bit off that $15 per item. Go check that out on our website. You can go to any of the product pages and click on the blue button that says Add Custom Logo. That'll take you to the custom version of the product. You can select what you'd like to get on there, and then you can launch the customizer from that same page. Once you're in the customizer, you can upload logos, add text, resize, rotate, reposition, the whole works, and then hit Add to Cart. From there, you can add and change do a whole bunch of different things to get the quantity that you're looking for, and then you can hit checkout. We are always happy to help. If you have any issues with the website at all, please reach out to us. The website is new. It's redesigned. It's different. Things might be broken. We don't think so. We've been working really hard to bug crush, but if you find something that's broken on the website or you think it's broken, please contact us. Let us know. We want to get these things fixed. And unfortunately, there's only so many of us and we can only do so much testing at any given time. So you guys are the best resource for us to find issues. And we really appreciate when you share this with us. If for any reason you need to get a hold of us, we are here. We are happy to help. Thank you so much for tuning in. Have a great day and goodbye.